Thanks for checking out this highlight from Epic Loot Radio. If you want to see the full podcast after the highlight, just check the top link in the description for more. New World, upcoming game from upcoming MMO action RPG from Amazon Game Studios. Obviously, currently not the best track record for developers. So we're going to talk about it because I've been following this game. I played in the preview event in August, and I thought like there's something there. Like if you guys go back to the start of this podcast, I felt like there was something there, and it has to be. You have to refine it. You got to polish that until it shines. You got to take that core, awesome, fun aspect and go from there. Have you played this game yet, Chaos?
I've played it a little bit, not much.
Okay.
I only caught the tail end of the alpha when it first came around.
What's your interpretation? What's your impression of the game so far?
So, the beginning part felt kind of flat for me.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of felt very generic, I would say. I saw like aspects of it that reminded me of old school MMOs, which I like. I absolutely prefer the old school methodology, even though I don't have time for it these days.
I like it for people who aren't playing it. Suffer like I suffered, children.
But the weapon breaking, I didn't enjoy. I don't like weapon breaks and stuff like that in MMOs. 14 had that originally, and no one liked it, so I'm really happy that they got rid of that.
Were you there when 14 had underwear that you had to change and you couldn't ever have it unequipped?
I was there from 1.0.
Yeah, I mean, there was a debuff. There was an underwear debuff.
Yeah, I was there from 1.0, and I thoroughly enjoyed 1.23 actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this game, and the game was okay, but it wasn't rocking. Like the way I was seeing social media going on about it, I didn't get that vibe from it. It just felt like another MMO that's hitting the market, that's just trying to get on its feet.
Mm-hmm.
That was my take.
It was really good that they delayed it. And so they delayed it to spring, and then now it's been delayed again. And the official release date, and that's, put in quotes, is August 31st with the beta happening if you pre-order in July. That means it's not like, it's a complete opposite of what Outriders is in this regards, where Outriders is like, just play our demo, progress carries forward. This one's going off the model of pre-order to try in that regards, which is less risky because you can cancel pre-orders and things like that. But at the end of the day, just kind of note that this studio has yet to prove that trust. So I'm not sitting here like, while I'm excited and I'm pre-ordered because I saw something and I hope that they can deliver on it, I'm perfectly fine with wagering I think it's $40 or whatever, to play the game, early and then play it to have it at launch. That's perfectly fine for me. So
Have you read the terms and conditions? Because I personally haven't.
I haven't.
Because I know Ubisoft do a thing where if you pre-order a game for the beta and you play the beta, you can't cancel your pre-order.
Well, we'll have to look into that. So it's a Steam thing though. So it's like, is that a Steam policy?
Even on even if you pre-order games off Steam for Ubisoft, it is still the same thing. If you play the beta, you cannot cancel your pre-order. That instantly cements your purchase.
Okay, let's look. I'll look into that because that would be really good to know, especially in terms of pre-order things. So anyway, my thing is like, know your worth in that regards. Feel free to whether you want to wager it or not. I'm in and I'm excited. Now I'm just gonna scroll the patch notes, guys. Like I said, we could probably make a 3-hour long video on these patch notes alone. What I'm seeing here from this is what, and we're gonna get into the quest design and stuff like that. I'm just waiting for somebody in chat to show some eyes because like, he's still scrolling. Yeah. This reminds me a lot of what I remember from MMOs, even what I remember from like 2.0 and 3.0. Like here's all the stuff that we're changing. Amazon, I get the feeling they're all in on this game. I don't think this is going to be the game that breaks the studio if it doesn't do well, because they already working on a Lord of the Rings MMORPG. They've got that license that, and the new CEO who's taking over is like, we are in for Amazon Game Studios unlike Google Stadia, we're in, and we're going to keep putting it into it. And with Crucible failing, they took that team and they didn't let them go like what Google did. They brought them in here. They're saying, let's go, let's get this game. And I just saw a note where it's like they're taking in feedback, they are working on this. I would like how that is such an update that would have been like, was that an expansion? You know, like was that no, that's the monthly update that we're seeing for this game. Chaos, what are your thoughts?
So I looked at the first link you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah,
sure if you want to bring that
I'll
one
bring
up
that up right now. Boom.
because that one was the good meaty one. So what I really liked about this one
Mm-hmm.
was the fact that they're changing almost everything in regards to the way the quests are done, the main story quests are done, how characters interact. It looks like they've taken a lot of feedback, but
Mm-hmm.
they're still changing the game to points where you probably won't recognize it if you played the alpha.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of all the unnecessary quests. They are having quests now up to level 40, but the NPCs are a lot more interactable, a lot more relatable. They're a lot more story driven as opposed to just go fetch this for me and go fetch that for me quests.
They've added
which
voice.
is which is really nice. They've added voices to the main storyline quests only.
But they said that like it sounds like if nothing else they're working to continue to do that and also bring in other languages,
Yeah,
which holy crap, like okay, that's one of the things that I felt was missing is like even if they don't voice the whole thing, just that hi, welcome, howdy sir, like just that accent that adds that to
yeah.
that character, like I think goes a long way in that in my immersion into the game and the world, because I felt the world was very immersive, the biomes, the like just the world was so impressive, but then yeah, like the characters are so flat. And no,
I
anyway,
mean,
could continue.
what this shows me and tells me is when they first released the alpha, they didn't know what they wanted this game to really be.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They put it out there just to see community feedback. And they got a lot of it. Some good praise, some bad praise, some constructive criticism. And they've taken that and now have pretty much molded it to that feedback. Because what I saw from the release notes from the pre-alpha of what it was supposed to be like, what I jumped in, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of what's coming here and from that big list, because I actually went through all of that today when you sent it to me.
You're
Um,
amazing. This guy is amazing. If you're not following Chaos, his links are all in the description. Be sure to follow this man. I love his content. Anyway, please continue.
yeah, I went through a lot of it, and they've pretty much rebuilt the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they've essentially done. Every single weapon has been redone. All the weapon skills have either been renamed to something more appropriate or have been given new traits and new stats. It's crazy. They've added armor quests, weapon quests, and they're not grindy or anything like that. They follow a three-stage process that requires you to go collect certain materials, do certain things, build your weapon. And they've even taken into consideration about the marketplace or how this won't affect. These aren't the best in slot weapons, and they're openly telling you that when you do these like relic armor quests and relic weapon quests, these will never be the best in slot because they want the crafting market
Yeah.
to have that spot.
That's exactly one of the things that has really, I think, hurt MMOs in the term of their longevity. In the terms of that theme park design, that having the best stuff drop from the content is great because it gets people to go do the content for the reward. But once the reward is no longer there, you see usually that's where you see that dip. But that's why I always like that market. If you could go get something from that content, and then whether you craft it and sell it on the market yourself or you just put the material on the market so somebody can craft and make that into whatever, like that continues to incentivize that, because then there's always a real world need for currency and having that kind of exchange of goods, which essentially allows players to kind of create their own challenges and quests in a way. Like, oh, I really need to go farm. We did this actually already in New World. We were like, oh, we need to go get some oil. Where is oil? All right, we figured out where oil was. We went out there. We hunted for it. We fought monster after monster. Like it was just, and then we finally found some spots for oil. We farmed up oil, put it on the market, made a lot of money. Obviously, we didn't continue to do that because we knew that the game was getting reset. So there was no major point in investing all of our time to have that just ripped out away from us. Now, I want to pivot slightly to Trent saying the quote unquote WoW killer in this regards. And then actually there's another comment with Seth I want to follow up right after this. I just kind of want to I would say, Trent, and anybody, WoW will be its own killer. Like the only thing that will kill WoW is WoW. Like, and then the label like Destiny killer, like that's a curse. Like when gamers use that, like, oh, this is going to be the game that whatever, like they in a way are actively cursing that game. So I would think the only thing that can kill WoW is really Blizzard. What do you think, Chaos?
Pretty much, you're only your own worst enemy. Every game is individual and unique to itself. It may borrow traits, it may borrow synonyms, whatever it is, but they are still their own unique game. You've seen the number of looter shooters out there today. You've got Avengers, Anthem, you've got Fallout 76, you've got Destiny, and so forth. You know, they are all under that umbrella, even Division and Division 2. Yeah. They're all under that umbrella, but you cannot say any of them are the same game. Any of them are, they're following the same formula, which is why they're in the same genre, but they're so different as an identity for each one. That you really can't say that one's a killer over the other. It's just you play which one you enjoy, and that's it.
Yeah.
If a game doesn't release content, it'll kill itself.
Yeah. The now Seth says, I mean, Amazon's game development has had very poor leadership. They are more just trying to throw their money around and expect a return without a focus on passion.
Agreed.
Yes and no, because
they spent $500 million and have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, they've spent money. So has Halo.
Halo has Halo 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, you're banking on nostalgia. I'm saying that like leadership is a key aspect. We've seen problems within the Halo development leadership. The only time leadership I think ends up being brought up is when like if Amazon comes out and this is a massive hit, that monetary whatever is going to look like genius. Only Amazon could have pulled this off, you know. However, Seth isn't wrong because there's already been reports that there's been poor leadership and issues within the company. My whole thing is that right now that's actually a non-story until the game comes out, because gamers will want, you know, either who to praise or who to blame, and that's all going to come down to it. We've seen games have, and I've been in, like, you know, it's always kind of the thing. There's like this illusion of this illusion of security. There's this illusion of like, proper leadership. I've been in companies where it's like they praise like the CEO and I'm like, that guy is a complete idiot. Like he stepped in, did horrible things. We did actively what he did not want. We won, but he gets the credit, you know, in that regard. So it's all about passion though. So it's like Seth's comment here is so fascinating and also like really well put together, because then the goal of leadership is to empower the passion. And that can come with money, right? Like that can come with essentially, here's what it is. If they don't, if all they have in their meetings, like with Anthem, is just them not making decisions and they're just wasting everybody's time and wasting money. But they got a new leader who's wanting Amazon games to be a thing, and that in and of itself can be a thing. You're going to probably have some. It's interesting that they've obviously had these issues all up into this point. Really, what will end up helping that out is if they get a win and go from there, and then it's like, yeah.
See, the way I see this is, you need to show everyone that you have faith in your product.
100%.
Outriders development team had faith in their product, so they put out a free demo, which no one expected. Mm-hmm. It wasn't planned. No one knew anything about it. When the game got delayed, they said, yep, the game's been delayed, but we're going to give you a demo so you can try the game out before you buy. No strings attached. That is showing me that you have full confidence in your product, and that is something that I reiterated in every video that I made when I was talking about it before the demo came out. Mm-hmm. If you're hiding your beta behind a purchase, that does not show confidence.
Correct.
To me. If you're confident in your product, put the beta out there. let everyone know that your progress will be wiped. Let people jump in, try it out, and if they like it, then they can pre-order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But if you're going to tell me that I have to pay money to try a game after your record with Crucible, that's already going to turn people off, and that's already spelling disaster. You know, they're going to lose a lot of sales going down that route, in my opinion. They should make the beta. They should do like an open beta for 2 days where everyone can jump in and give it a try and see if they like the experience.
Yeah.
Because if they do, they will invest that $40.
They'll go put that money
and buy it.
They'll be within like 30 minutes. Like, here's
because
your money.
Something that you said earlier instantly, you know, lit light bulbs in me, which I haven't seen in a long time. Where you said you went and farmed oil, for example.
Yeah.
Like back in the day in Fantasy XI, I would go to, Dangraf Wadi to farm beehive chips or to, different areas to farm them, then craft them into beeswax and put them on the auction house because I knew they sold really well. So I'd specify like a couple of mornings a week where I'd go do that to fund my earnings because it's like those old school RPGs, which is what this is trying to be, is it requires some effort and some work to get stuff done. That is a old school mentality. So expecting people to dive straight into that is dangerous.
It is. You have to incentivize that, and that's where their quest overhaul could be generally positive, getting people in and guided, and then all of a sudden opening up more and more of the world where you're like, oh, there's these other systems that are actually going on at play. 100% on the terms of like if they have a lot of confidence, then it should be open for everybody to come in and play and test, and that will help give the best look at it. If they're not confident, then like you want to put it behind really the early adopters and the fans, because there's two things that are working against the game right now in that regards. It's it doesn't exist in a bubble. There's all kinds of competition. Why would I stop playing Final Fantasy XIV and dedicate myself to New World? Well, right. I wouldn't, but I'm saying that like what about it's going to keep me playing it? I believe in a multi-game approach. Like at the end of the day, like I have to play at least 2 games because otherwise I'll just get, it's just not worth my time. Like, no, I gotta play more. The other one is, so they don't have a track record. That also applies to the support of the game going forward. So being that, let's say the game launches and it's good, it's got content, people play it, they're going to step away. Like no matter what, like the articles, like when we talk about like what I believe is kind of real clickbait or just kind of a pointless article, like there's all kinds of pointless things that are posted out onto the internet, have no purpose otherwise just to grab your attention for a brief second. So you'll, no matter what, whenever a new game comes out, especially a popular one, the next thing that you'll see about it reported on, I'm not going to name sites, but they, I'm sure anybody here can fill it out in their imagination who these sites are. Games population drops by 50%. Like, yeah, that's going to happen. It's especially, because we saw it with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's population's fallen. They're reporting on the Steam average player count. Who gives a righteous F about any of that information? Only people who are like, oh, it's failing, right? Like you get on the drama trail, and that's also going to work against it. So you got to be prepared not only to launch, you got to be prepared with not just like, don't give me honestly, Amazon doesn't need a roadmap. They need to prove that they can continually deliver. And that's actually what they're somewhat doing with this alpha. If the game comes out on the 31st of August and then and then in September and then in October and then in November and then in December, they just keep hitting that drumbeat. People are going to check out the game. Maybe there's something they want or that doesn't exist yet. Or maybe Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker comes out and they go and play that. But there needs to be an update, and it needs to be something that's trustworthy and massive that happens to bring them back. If they don't do that, if Amazon just sets this game up for launch, and then it's like, all right, our next update's going to be in the spring, yeah, you'll see all kinds of articles. People are leaving the game, aren't playing. Even Bellular talking about how WoW's population for Shadowlands has dropped in half. Like, I don't understand how that's news. Maybe I'm wrong. Chat, let me know. Am I wrong? Am I just this weird? Like, is this?
I
weird
saw that video that you're talking about.
Yeah,
and that video was so stupid because
I'll reach out to Bellular. Get on here, and we're gonna call you out.
He's talking about a period where the game is in a drought. Do you know what the population of 14 is? I can tell you it's not as high as it was when Shadowbringers released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Because the game is in a drought.
Yeah.
And if there is a drought period for a content, people drop off, they unsub for a while until the new stuff comes back, and then popularity builds up.
Mm-hmm.
WoW right now is in that exact same position. They're in a drought, and they have been for a while now of a content drought, and they are waiting for a new update. So, the player base dropping by 50%, what did you expect was going to happen?
Yeah. People
just don't sign in, daily for no reason. The communities of back in the old days of MMORPGs don't exist. Even in content drafts when 11 was about, I used to sign in and it was like a second family for me when I was playing 11. I played for 7-8 years. I used to play for hours on end.
Yeah.
I used to sign in, and the people that were there, the lane shows that we had, that was literally like a second extension of my family. I could talk to them about anything, and it was amazing. I mean, that's the type of community old school MMORPGs brought together. These new MMOs don't do that anymore. So when there's a content drought, it's a drought.
You have content drought, but you also have the fact that these games don't exist in a bubble. Your gamer family doesn't have to be just with World of Warcraft. I think that's why services like Game Pass, and I'm wondering, we will say PlayStation Plus or whatever PlayStation, being able to sit here and say, here is a collection of games, and then the ability to communicate and be able to play, whether you want to live in one game for a whole year or 7 years or not. I think essentially we're seeing that transition happen. I think New World, that's what for me, the MMO is 11. Phoenix says 11 will always be their favorite MMO of all times. Yeah, mine too, because it's that persistent world. It's that social capital that people had to work together. And then now I go to play 11 and I'm able to bring my friends in. There's also the content creator aspect that it's definitely had an impact where when I play 11, people want to come and play. And so I never have this massive amount of downtime. And so the games have to adjust for us. There's no going back. We're not going to, if New World came out and launched an old school, hard as nails, you can't solo anything, game, that would appeal to some gamers. That would, absolutely. They'd have a community, but not large enough to sustain the level of continually having kind of updates and support that it requires, because other games are going to come out and they're going to steal your attention away, and you're going to wonder why no one's playing your game anymore. So it's really going to be, at the end of the day, especially back to Seth's point, it's really on Amazon. All of this with New World right now, 100% pass fail is on Amazon. And I would love to see this game succeed, because I'm also excited about what they're working on next, which is the Lord of the Rings MMORPG. Just walking through this world, the things that they've done right shine. It's just that's insanity. I didn't think that we were going to see an MMO do that. But now they've done some of these things. And I'm just all right, just get the rest of this fixed. And they're doing it. Will it be good? God, I hope so. I really would love to have a new, game to sink my teeth into, to also pair with Final Fantasy XIV. I don't need New World to be a massive narrative story driven experience. I already have that. I want this to be of this persistent world that I can live in. Go ahead, Chaos.
See, the thing is, what this game needs to do successfully is create a community.
Yeah. I hope that you really enjoyed that highlight, and I hope that you check out the full podcast. Again, link is in the description. Thanks for being here, and hope you have a fantastic day, you wonderful, beautiful individual.